Hey guys, welcome back to the United Star. And today we have a really special guest with us in the form of Dakota, who is the chairman and the president of the Red Devils of San Diego, which is the official Manchester United club, supporters club in San Diego. And it's great to have you on, Dakota. It's amazing to see how widespread our fan base is. Um, so, guys, we're here to talk about the Champions League game, the game that more or less decides how our season's going to be. So, I'm straight going to jump into this with you, Dakota. If we don't qualify, do you see this as a big issue for Ole and probably a red flag for him to be sacked?
Well, first things, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it because it kind of goes to show that the fandom, the support we have for Manchester United is truly global, and I'm just really happy and ecstatic to be part of it. In terms of Ole specifically, I do think it is a failure on his part to not get us past the group stage if that in fact happens. I think getting past the group stage is just the bare minimum. And if you don't go through the bare minimum, then you really have to give a second look in terms of whether or not Ole is in fact the right person to take this team forward.
I I kind of disagree with that, but Dakota, do you think this also includes the fact that we are in so-called the group of death with Leipzig and PSG, and no one really expected us to win those two first games? So could we be thinking about this from the perspective that since we were at 9 points, we should ideally be qualifying?
It's kind of a double-edged sword. 9 points usually in most other groups will get you by at least in that second spot in a group stage, but it is the group of death. We were playing against a team that was in the semifinals and the finals last season. But if Ole has confidence in this club in the squad in which he has, and of course us as supporters, we have confidence in this club. We can beat these teams. We beat PSG in Paris. And we beat Leipzig at home. These are matches that we should absolutely get results in some way, shape, or form. Um, Putting us kind of on a back pedal with PSG doesn't help matters when we know we can beat them in the first place.
I
So I think we can eat. These are matches that are winnable. I just really don't know what we need to do in order to. I kind of know, in fact, but that we need to. It's something that we really have to push towards. Um, because we're freaking Manchester United, we should be winning these matches. We should be advancing in the Champions League.
I agree with you because when we look at it, the game against PSG also, Rishab, let me get to you. It was a game of fine margins, right? We had multiple chances. I mean, the Cavani flick, the Martial open goal miss. Do you think us not qualifying would basically come down to us missing our chances, especially come going down to the game against Istanbul, where we just switched off?
Yeah, when we won, nobody expected us to win both PSG and Leipzig, and we did it by huge margins against Leipzig at home. But when you look at the games, we won PSG, we won Leipzig, the first two games, the big ones, and then we go to Basak Shahir and we absolutely bottle it. And that was supposed to be, PSG, Leipzig, Basak Shahir twice, and we're through. We're basically topping the group, right? But that didn't happen. And against PSG, when we've gone and we've played that game at Old Trafford, we've lost 3-1. So that again, that goes against our favor in terms of the head-to-head.
Right.
Now the only way we finish above PSG is if they draw points against Başakşehir and we win at Leipzig. Also, the Leipzig game has become we either win or we draw, only then we go through. So, if we really have made it harder for ourselves.
I think Ole likes that for some reason. As he says, mountains are meant to be climbed, and he's playing Leipzig, and then he's playing City back to back, which would be two big games. But Dakota, take into factor how important this game is, and with the number of injuries, like we saw Martial walk off injured against West Ham. We know Bruno and Rashford were carrying a niggle, that's why they didn't start. How do you see us playing this game? Like even De Gea missed out. What would be your ideal starting 11 for this game against Leipzig?
There's so many questions with this team right now when it comes to both not just injuries but form. Um, De has a knock. Bruno has a knock. Martial got injured on Saturday on Saturday's match. There's so many questions. I get why Bruno was rested on Saturday's match to get him fully fit for Tuesday. Um, Bruno has to start. There's obviously there's no questions about it. Even if he can't go the full distance, we need him out there at minute one. The question then becomes who joins him in the midfield. Pogba had a really amazing game on Saturday. Van de Beek, he came off at halftime. I thought he had a decent match. Not the greatest match, but decent. But do you as well go with the kind of tried and true big game formation and throw Fred and McTominay out there? I would want to see a match, and I think this might be the perfect match to pull it off, to see Bruno, Pogba, and Van der Beek all on the pitch at the same time. Throw caution to the wind a little bit, and then just go straight at Leipzig with an attacking formation. Whether that is a 4-4-2, you can throw matches kind of in that defensive tip, and then you can probably do. You can easily do Greenwood and Rashford. You can do if Martial is fit. I don't know what I didn't hear what Ole said in terms of his injury, but I don't know if Martial will be available Tuesday. You can easily do that in terms of a 4-3-3. If Martial's available, throw him on the left, and then that way you have Rashford in center, and or Martial central, Rashford left, and then Greenwood right, or you can do the 4-4-2 diamond, then you would have Rashford and Greenwood up front. There's a couple of ways you can do it. I still want to see. I think this would be the perfect time, though, to throw Van de Beek, Pogba, and Bruno out there in the same match and throw Costa on Tuesday.
I think I completely agree with you. Even personally, I would like to see the combination of Pogba, Van de Beek, and Bruno, because I think Pogba provides those long balls. Even though he slows down the play significantly, he has that a specific quality. We saw it against PSG also, the strike he took that went just over the crossbar, which was fabulous. Rishabh, do you
Right.
agree with the 4-4-2 diamond, or would you change the formation?
What I think is the 4-4-2 diamond, whenever we played in the in the diamond formation, apart from that first game against Leipzig, played it against Arsenal and we played it against Southampton in the first half. I didn't think we looked convincing at all in both of those games, because a lot of our out balls are always the wingers, and when you're using this formation, the wingers are just, there are no wingers obviously, and our fullbacks are in Van Bissaka just completely count him out of attacking. He's just, he's just not good enough in terms of providing an out ball. He can keep the ball, but he can't provide an out ball for us out wide. And when it comes to the diamond, the thing is, when you have those two guys in front of the defensive midfielder, they're supposed to go and track the opposition wingers, right? And Pogba never does that. I don't expect him to do that at all. He's such a lazy guy. Obviously, he's saying that he's struggling with fitness as well. I just don't
Yeah,
expect him to do that.
Yeah, well, Pogba has been struggling for fitness all season long. I think it was just more so due to the congested schedule, the fact that we had such a short, summer break, if you will. Um, and we've changed formations, we've changed styles of play so many times over the season. I think it's Ole trying to figure out what system works, where we can have both Pogba and Bruno on the pitch at the same time. The two can complement each other on the pitch. And it's almost, I wouldn't necessarily say square pegs around holes. I think Ole's doing a decent job. It's just trying to figure out what works. And I think that 4-4-2 diamond, you're correct in that the wing backs have to play wide, and we have one wing back, Tellez, who loves playing wide. That's literally his best style of play. And then we have another wing back, Wan-Bissaka, who's almost afraid to get into the final third. And And I don't know if Wan-Bissaka will flourish in that formation. It's very difficult to say. We only played in that formation a few times this season. I would even consider maybe Brandon Williams, in that right back spot when we do play the 4-4-2. It's but if we do a 4-3-3 where our midfielders can play a little wide and our wingers they're really inside forwards, how they play up front, they can play a little wide, and which complements Wan-Bissaka, but not necessarily Alex Telles. So you kind of have to figure out almost a happy medium to get the best out of Telles, out of Wan-Bissaka, and then if Luke Shaw ever gets back to full fitness, and if he gets back onto Ole's good graces, then you have to figure out where he fits into all of this, whether he's happy in a complementary role, or where he fits in either in a 4-4-2 diamond, or back in that 4-3-3 or that 4-2-3-1 that we've been playing for the most part.
I think I agree with that, because I've been thinking about this as well. We have so many players, but they're so specific to a specific formation. Like, I personally believe that Telles suits the 3-5-2 by being a wing back and having an extra center back cover his position, and he can be free. So Rishabh, just going back to you, what do you see the 11 being like? We've heard it from Dakota. What's your take?
I don't think Ole will opt for the diamond. I think it will be too risky. And this game's a must win, so he'll go safe. He'll go with the system he's trusted over the years. I mean, not over the years, obviously. I mean, over the back end of last season and the beginning of this season, the 4-2-3-1. I think Pogba is, he's probably one of the most well-equipped players to play in that pivot because he can run and he has the energy, he has the legs, he has the strength. He can play the long balls. He can obviously get into the box, and we've seen Gerrard doing it, right? He used to play a lot of the time in a pivot, and he used to get up and down the field, just box to box, and it was amazing. And if Pogba, it's not the question of his fitness. Obviously, he can do that. He's not old. He's just what 27, 28. So I expect. If he wants to do it, he can do it. But he's just lazy. He doesn't want to defend. He wants to do tricks on the ball. He wants to do flicks. He just wants those highlights. And it's really frustrating when I watch him in that pivot because how many the loose touches he takes. I mean, if we take you back to last season, against the game against Southampton, the amount of times he lost the ball in the pivot. This season against Palace, I mean, obviously he wasn't fully fit, but still the amount of time he was losing the ball, it's just really sad to see because he's very well equipped to play there. And I feel that if we can unlock Pogba in that position, that's the way to get Pogba and Bruno. And if we can't do that, I just suggest Ole, show some guts and just sell Pogba, get rid of him, invest the money in someone who wants to play for Manchester United, who has that Manchester United DNA like Bruno has. I mean, that guy is tailor made for Manchester United. The amount of dedication, it's like he wants to prove something every single game. We
I
need
think
Pogba to do that.
I think with Pogba, he wants to be on the highlight reel. He wants to be on the Sports Center top 10. If people don't know, it's top 10 plays in the United States, but then it highlights around the world. But alas, I think that Pogba wants to be on the highlight reel, but he also plays a certain style of play. And when he was with Juventus, he played basically in a double pivot 4-3-3. That play with midfielders that play wide and also drop back. And he doesn't necessarily play that formation. He plays in a 4-2-3-1, which requires the two holding midfielders to play in that double pivot, but he has no help behind him, which we had when he was with Juventus, when you had a single pivot holding midfielder. So do you pair Pogba with Bruno in a 4-3-3 side by side, Bruno on the right, Pogba on the left, where the two can play wide? And we've seen them both play wide, several times with relative success. Do we see that, or is Ole going to kind of stick with his guns and kind of be very adamant about trying to continue the 4-2-3-1 or even try the 4-4-2 diamond? Or do you cut your loss and say, Pogba, we tried, it didn't work. Thank you for coming back to United, and then ship him off to Real Madrid for 90 million quid. At what point do you say that?
Dakota, when you think about it, I'm just gonna like sum this up. If we look at the season after COVID, when we went on that unbeaten run in the Premier League, we did play the likes of Matic, Bruno, and Pogba, and it worked brilliantly. So sometimes I just get a feeling that it depends on Pogba's mood as to when he wants to play for the club. And I have a feeling that is the time right now because I saw it against PSG, I saw it against West Ham. I just think he needs the club to be doing well at the same time. That's the only way the best out of him comes. But guys, moving ahead, Dakota, getting to you, what's your take on Leipzig? Obviously, Upamecano is missing. They have to go for this game and they will attack. Otherwise, they would probably be out of the Champions League. So, how do you see it panning out from their end?
Well, we got 3 teams with 9 points. Leipzig was one of them. They actually had the goal differential. There's I think they have a -2 goal differential, so they absolutely have to win. No questions asked. Otherwise, they're out. They got a manager that is a tactical mastermind. He's probably one of the more tactical geniuses in football, and he's gonna try to put out a formation that they want, that they can exploit United's weaknesses, which is we have wingers that don't necessarily bomb up the field, and so they'll exploit that. They'll exploit the fact that we have kind of almost, we don't have any. We have one jack of trade midfield, but we kind of spread. We don't tend to play very narrow of our midfielders. So they'll try to exploit that, and they'll also they know that we were bad against the low block, and they'll exploit that as well. So they have the players that can pull off, any sort of formation. He tends to mix it up a bit. They tend to mix it up a bit. I think that I think their way of winning, and they try to go at us when we played against them, and it didn't work. I think they're going to change it up. I think they'll go with the low block. I think they're going to be a more counter-attacking team. Um, and I think that in the end, I think it'll probably be closer to kind of a 4-1-4-1, or I think they deployed a 3-4-3 last time we played them, kind of an invert with 2 inverted wingers. I think that they'll play very defensively against United on Tuesday.
I think I can see that happening because United are really strong on the counter. So, Rishabh, what do you think? If they do play defensive, how can United counter that? And if they do come attacking, would you stick to the tactics that you're going to say right now, or would they change?
Vera, I think if they employ the low block, right, I think it's pretty much kind of playing into our hands. So I don't really expect that because they don't have a lot of, say, pacey wingers who like to, they're a very narrow kind of team. And, most of the times when you look at it, the lineups like 4-2-2-2 or a 3-4-3, where they have 2 narrow midfielders behind the striker again, like Olmo and Nkunku, for example. So I don't think they will employ a no block because it just doesn't fit into their style. And if they come at us, it's the question of us keeping a clean sheet, and then us keeping a clean sheet or at least defending properly, and then also converting our chances on the counter, which we obviously didn't do against PSG.
Yeah, we did a really good job against PSG, especially not for the first match in Champions League, playing the counter. We did that really well, and we also did fairly well against Leipzig as well in the first match against them. So we can eat if we do play counterattacking, that's fine. If we give them possession, that's totally fine. It is playing if they give them possession, if we keep the ball in the midfield, we can. I mean, we do chase the ball really well. That plays really well into our hands to get a result. If it's a 0-0, a draw will get us in perfectly, fine. It will likely get us in that number 2 slot, which is totally fine, gets us into the knockout round. Not an idealistic spot, but we're in. So maybe they hold on to possession, maybe we give them the ball. That's fine. We're good counter attacking them. So maybe we have to go on the back foot a little bit to get this result, to grind this result, because it's not going to be an easy match at all.
I think I completely agree with you. And Dakota, I'm just going to straight get into that then. How do you see the game panning out? What's this? What prediction would you make for this game? And how do you see this group ending? Do you think Istanbul could do us a favor with PSG?
Well, we saw when we played Istanbul first time, they grinded out the win. If they can grind it out the win against us, they can also grind out the win against PSG. I don't think it's going to happen though. You can't count on that to happen. You got to worry about what we as United are going to do first and foremost before we got to worry about someone else grinding out the result against one of our oppositions. So I don't anticipate Istanbul winning. Of course, I said that when we play Istanbul away. The last match when we lost against Istanbul. Sorry. So I don't see that happening. I see PSG pushing through. I think it's gonna be a score fest. I think PSG is gonna score a lot of goals. They have to score a lot of goals with the assumption that we win to win the stage or to win the group stage. But for us against Leipzig, even a draw will get us in. Like I said, I think that's going to be the likely result. I think it's going to be a 1-1 or a 2-2 draw, which will be again just enough to get in, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Just as long as we get into the groups, into the knockout rounds.
Rishab, what's your predicted scoreline, and who do you think would be the standout player or the player that needs to stand up for this game for us?
Yeah, so just before I get on with that, I just wanted to remind our viewers that the Champions League does not consider goal difference, but they consider head-to-head decide who finishes on top. And so our head-to-head is worse than we have a worse head-to-head record than PSG. So the only way we finish above them is we win and they draw points. And talking about the result, I think Leipzig. It's a must-win game for Leipzig. It's not a must-win for us. We get away with a draw and we still qualify, but Leipzig have to win because we have a better head-to-head record than them.
Right.
So Leipzig have to win, and they will come at us. That suggests they will come at us. That means we'll get opportunities on the counter, and I think we should keep Martial as far away from the team as possible because he's just not cutting it right now for me. Also, I think Cavani needs to start, and I think a player that needs to step up and always, Bruno Fernandes always steps up, so I don't think I need to call him out. I think Rashford, Greenwood, Cavani, Pogba, especially Paul Pogba, this is the game where he needs to step up. Back one good performance with an excellent one, and really make a statement.
Guys, I think I completely agree with you. I personally think that we can beat Leipzig at least by a goal or two. I would predict a 2-0 victory to United. I think we are defensively sound, and I think our players are getting some sort of form. But guys, that's about it. That's what we think about the Champions League match day 6 and how Group H is going to pan out. Thank you so much, Dakota, for joining us. Guys, we've put in Red Devils of San Diego, MUSC's link in the description below. Do check out their Instagram. They have some great content. But that's about it, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching our video. If you do like it, please click on the thumbs up and please subscribe to our channel. Click on the bell icon to get daily notifications from the United Star. Follow us on Instagram at the.UnitedStar, and we will see you soon